Alright, we're back. We had a visitor. This is my cat Tigger. And trust me not, he's quite a handful. But anyway, his name's Tigger, and I have, through the years, named him Rembrandt. The other one's Da Vinci. He's a Siamese cat. I've actually had him longer than this one, but he kind of rules the roost. Anyway, he likes to get up here and hang out with me, especially when I'm putting my attention on the canvas and not him. So, anyway, let's get back to work. We're working on the Santa Claus. And we're doing the highlights of the boot. And I can barely see my lines, but they're good enough to see my wrinkles that I worked so hard on to get. And it lets it flow in here. And I hope we're getting a good zoom on this where y'all can see. You can see I'm just taking and rolling the grooves of the boot. And I'm using my light as I go. Pushing my light this way, which the back of the boot will stay somewhat darker. I'm going to put a little bit more light on the outside of this boot. Go ahead and start pressing that a little more. And what I'm going to do is add some white with my burnt umber and burnt sienna. And that allows that to put a little more light on it. But if you'll notice, I'm staying low on my boot, working bottom up. And that keeps my shadows where I want them to be, for now. And like I said, I haven't started blending these together yet. I'm basically just putting paint on there. Now, as I work my way to the back of the boot, I will start applying more of the burnt umber that I started off with, but getting a mixture as I come back in here because there's going to be an absence of light. Sometimes if I lose my markers, I have a sketch that I drew from the very beginning before I put it up here, and I'll just refer back to it. And it keeps me straight. Now we're going to go to the other boot. We'll start working on it a little bit. Same texture, same style. And after I get done roughing all this in, I will also take into account where my light actually is. Some of this I have to tone back down where it's too bright and the light wouldn't actually hit. I keep all that account in the end. But working bottom up is the trick. When I get to this point, it starts getting kind of dry. I like to add a little bit of water to keep my paint moving. I don't flood it, but I grab just enough water to keep the thing moving. And it allows me to do a little bit of blending at this point. The blending part we haven't really got to yet, and you'll get to see how I blend them out. That's when it really starts coming together and looking good. I tell my students a lot, you have to be patient with the painting. They come together when they come together. But the steps are very vital in painting because you miss out a couple steps, it's like playing chess. You're setting up for your next thing. And a lot of the times being patient is hard. I call it the ugly stage. It's not the pretty stage. Not that it's looking bad by no means, but it's early on. You have to build your paint. You can't just go into it and it'll be perfect as you go. It would be nice, and there is some artist friends that I have that do that, but to me it just makes it so much harder if you can just work out of your dark shades. I'll come back in here and just kind of pop some on this outside edge, just kind of play with it, get a little feel for it, rough it up a little bit, you may say. Just play with it a little bit. Now, that's a pretty good blend for the boots and the bag. Now we're going to come in here and start working on the belt. We're going to start roughing it in. We're going to keep it dark, especially up under here. Not much light can get up under here. And you can see that's where the belt's going to overlay or overlap. Up under here, that's going to be his coat, so we're not worried about that too much there. That's the red. I actually missed that. See, that's going to be the belt holder, the loops. It happens. Sometimes you miss them. I have to break out some red now and put that back in there. Don't really know how dark I want this belt to be. I'm going to stay kind of mid-tonish, not go too dark with it. We don't want all these colors to be the same. We want to keep some hue values in there. We don't want Santa Claus looking like you don't know how to dress too much either. If you'll notice, if we get a good zoom, we ain't already, I'm leaving a little bit of that underneath painted blue. That's going to be where the dark side of the belt is, to give it the thickness of the belt. So if I don't cover that real well, that's the reason for it. Now inside this belt buckle would probably be mostly dark too. The belt buckle itself would shade quite a bit. So that could be a darker tone piece. Where these straps are will eventually, when I start blending my paints, they'll start being darker. They're called shadows. And that's what lifts the painting and gives it a 3D effect. What are you doing, Rembrandt? I can hear him over here playing with something. Now we're getting a pretty good rough end, and that's pretty good with my browns. So what I want to do with these straps, I don't want brown. We're going to make it a little bit decorative. So we're going to use burnt sienna and a little bit of gold orc to give it a little more depth, a little bit different color. A goldish leather strap, maybe, if you want to say, since the bag is so dark itself. And I might put decorations on it. I might put little beads of, well, I'd like to say diamonds, but you know, snaps, something that would glitter, you know, a little fancy looking. There's all kind of things I can do in the end. Just depends on how fancy or unfancy I want to be with it. But those are areas where I call decorative areas. You can do a lot with them. Decorate his bag for them. Depends on what floats your boat at that point. I'm going to make it a little bit lighter now that we got the dark on there. I'm going to make it towards the top where more light can possibly hit. Now I'll add a little bit of white with it. Give it a little more twang. Like the light's hitting the very top of it. Like so. I like that color so much I think it'll look pretty good on his belt. Maybe not quite that gold, but a little bit of highlights never hurt anything. Like I said, our light's going to be top down, so I can start marking where my stuff's going to be a little bit too. The belt overlay, the edge. In the middle, I'd probably come in here and just kind of tap a little bit where the belt buckle itself probably wouldn't hit, and then go back to the top of my belt. And as you can see, it's starting to shape. A lot of art, really, if you just really break it down, it's an illusion. What we do as artists merely is paint the illusion of something. And we use depth as a very good insight to do that with. Shadows, all that stuff. Authenticity plays a big role in art. So now I'm going to use this same color, kind of polish it up on these boots, kind of just play with it a little bit, come in here where the lights are, and just kind of tap on that a little bit. Give it a little bit of the flavor of the day. Yes, I'm starting to like it. Now what I'm seeing on my bag here, and this is what you start seeing as you start evolving, the paint starts evolving, you start seeing, okay, I can use a little more dark in here. I mean, we're dark enough in here and it being a red jacket. Here we are with a brown jacket representing darker shade of red. I think it calls for a little bit more deepness. So I'm going to take some Payne's Gray, which is the only black I prefer to use because it has a blue tint to it. And I like to come in here and use it, and I will just come in here and darken that up a little bit where we have the negative light. And that will help make the bag look deeper and put it in its perspective where it should be. Put it behind Santa. And like I said before, the darks and lights is what moves the painting. It's what brings it out, gives it perspective, proportion. It all works hand in hand. And that deepens my bag where there's absence of light. And this just kind of keeps a balance as you paint. It keeps a balance in your painting. And it will develop the whole time that you're painting. You'll start seeing things. That's the great thing about art. It's a mystery to me in a lot of ways. And I think that's why artists before me, and for a long time, if you do any studies, it's been handed down, of course, art, but at the same time, you're constantly learning, and most all your artists in history has said, many a times that art is a mystery, and it's a constant building block. So anyway, when we come back, we'll start doing some more bottom shadows, and we'll start getting to the whites and the grays. Thank you.